I think since 1990. And then we have had so many companies listed on the stock exchange market now. And one of the freshest baby on the stock exchange market is the Casapreco, Ghana Limited. And then we also have had Atlantic Lithium and Zen Petroleum. I think they listed this year. And then we did their IPO this year. And as I move on, I'm going to explain some of the key terms I use here, i.e. IPO and the others. Sister, can we move on to the next slide, please? Can we move on? Yes, thank you very much. Now, the reason why this session is very, very much important, and I saw it necessary to train all of us on this particular area, is that less than 4% of Ghanaians or the elite class, let me see, even the elite class, have invested one way or the other, either on the stock exchange market or have a debt instrument or any investment package other than T-bill. So majority of us, what we know is fixed deposit and treasury bill. But there are quite a number of investment packages that are available that we will invest our monies in. So it is very, very much important that we get this knowledge and equip ourselves with this, which will go a long way to help us. Now, if you look at the Ghana Stock Exchange market now, currently we have about 285 billion worth of investment on the stock exchange market. What I mean by that is that if you take the companies that I've listed there, if you put the individual company value, when I say value, it means that when you put all the assets together and you deduct their liabilities, the value of these companies on the stock exchange market is almost about 300 billion Ghana cedis, which of course we have a long way of investing. We have great opportunity of investing and also getting some good amount of money for ourselves. So I encourage all of us to stay with me throughout. I think currently you will be having a little noise. I'm just, I was at the airport. I'm just trying to get home so that we can be able to have a smooth sail. But whilst I'm almost home, I need to start, and then we have some conversation on some of the things that we are talking about this particular evening. Please, can we move on? Can we move on to the next slide? So the session one, the first session that we are going to deal with is what is on the stock exchange market, what can be traded on the stock exchange market, and then some key terms that are needful for us to understand what we are going to talk about this particular evening. Yes, madam, can we move on now to the next slide? Thank you very much. Now, so we are going to look at some key definitions. Like I said, we have good number of companies that have listed on the stock exchange market. And like I said, the stock exchange market was established in 1990 as a limited by guarantee. And so it is two public institutions, I think SNIT and one other institution that has provided a guarantee for our stock exchange market, so that when it is liquidated, the stock exchange market liability will be footed by two government institutions. And so it is not a profit-making organization, generally as an institution. And the stock exchange market operates like the market at the KJTR. And you know that when you go to KTR, it is not every person that is trading there, except those who have been able to acquire spaces and they have been authorized to stay there. And so the stock exchange market opens usually between 10 a.m. in the morning and closes around 3 p.m. So if you want to do any trading that we are going to do or we are going to talk about today, except the ones on the apps, for the apps, at any time you can place your bid. But remember, those who are going to be involved in buying your shares for you can only be able to do that usually between 10 a.m. in the morning and up to 3 p.m. in the afternoon. And the one beautiful thing is that Ghana Stock Exchange market is one of the best stock exchange markets in the whole of Africa, because we have a composite index of about 73%, which shows how well the stock exchange market is doing generally, which is very, very, very good. And one most important thing is that there are these two key terms that are used to describe whether or not a stock exchange market is doing well or not doing well. One of them is the word bull. When we say the stock exchange market is bullish today, the word bullish means it means that stocks are doing well and the market is favorable. Bullish. Bullish as in a bull, you know. And then when it is bearish, it means that the market is not performing so well. So it is a bearish market. So I can say that for some time now, Ghana Stock Exchange market is now a bullish market, or is doing so well and it is performing. That is why Aliko Dangote is in the move of getting Alinko's company listed on Ghana Stock Exchange market. And I'll be so glad that this group, being the pioneer group to be trained by Top Biznes Consult on how to be able to trade on the stock exchange market, when the IPO is in, we all get ourselves ready to buy some shares of Aliko Dangote. Madam, please, can we move on to the next slide? But before you move on, before you press, we know we have about 42 companies listed on the stock exchange market. And some of them are into ETFs and others are into shares. So now let us go to the next slide and understand the meaning of the term shares, bonds, ETFs, and any other relevant information we may have. So when you go to the stock exchange market, what can you buy on the Ghana Stock Exchange market? One of the things that I'm going to concentrate on in this particular webinar is buying of shares. Synonymously, in the American parlance, we will say stocks. And so if it is not shares, it is stocks. While the British are using shares, the Americans are using stocks. But we prefer that we call our market, our exchange market, as stock exchange market. Now we have the main stock exchange market, and then we have alternative markets around. But today my plan is to just deal with the main stock exchange market and then shares only. We will not be talking much about bonds, although I'll try to give a dichotomy between some of these key terms so that you can clearly be able to deal with them or understand them anytime you see it anywhere. Anytime we are talking about shares, I always compare with the pie that Dr. Ashi prepared some time ago. And then when the pie was ready, she took her knife and shared, and every person within the church had something to eat. So whenever we say you owe a share of a company, it means that you are a part owner. And the entire pie of the institution, you have a portion to yourself. There are so many types of shares. Major amongst them has to do with preferential shares and ordinary shares. There are other forms of shares that we can talk about them, but that is not the plan today. That is not the plan today. And so when you go to the stock exchange market, it is not a preference share that you're going to buy, but you're going to buy an ordinary share. Actually, the ordinary share is, let me say, the original owners of the company. Those are the shareholders that their value that they have invested will be the last to be paid in case the company is liquidating. And sometimes some of these shareholders, by reason of their work, the role that they play within the institution, some of them are given preferential shares. which is, let me see, a second tier or a little higher in terms of recognition on the stock exchange market compared to ordinary shareholders. So I need you to be able to understand some of these things very well. So ordinary shareholders, I will say, are the original or the primary shareholders of a company, you know. And anytime we are going to liquidate the company, for example, if the company is going to fold up or is going to die, quote and unquote, we will start to pay those that we are owing external people, governmental institutions like the DRA, and all those that the company is owing. And then afterwards, when the company still have some resources, then we, the original owners, to whom the company belongs, we will now come and now pay ourselves. So remember that if you imagine you are a company owner and for any reason your company has a folder, the question is that, are you going to pay yourself and leave the external people that you borrow from, or you pay them before you pay yourself? And by rules of engagement, you need to pay them before you pay yourself. So the ordinary shareholders are the last of the shareholders that are considered to be paid, but they are the original shareholders. They have the voting right to vote to determine who sits on the board, their allowances, their tenure, appointment of auditors, among others. These are called the ordinary shareholders. Brothers and sisters in Christ, another thing that sometimes you can also buy on the stock exchange market are bonds. Bonds are, let me say, liability instruments. When we say liability instruments, we are talking about someone trying to buy from you some amount of your money. So you have some money with you, and someone says that I need the money to be able to run, but I'm not giving you any ownership in my business. Just that the amount that you have given to me, when I am ready, I will pay your money and then your interest. There are several types of bonds, and in future endeavors, we are going to go into detail in terms of bonds. So while shareholders or those who have bought shares in companies are part ownership of the company, when you buy a company's bond, you are not a part owner. Just that you have given your money to, or you have lent you have lent your money to the company. That based on the agreement you have with the company in terms of number of years, and then the interest, when it is time, such monies are now paid back to you with its interest. Now, bondholders do not earn dividends. That is to say that when the company makes profit, it is the shareholders rather that are going to enjoy portions of the dividend. Portions of the profit in the form of dividend. Whilst the bondholders, ladies and gentlemen, are not going to enjoy anything from the ownership of the entity. Rather, the money that they have given out to the company, the interest that they decided to charge on it, and then that will be all. On the stock exchange market, you can also buy some ETFs, which are called exchange traded funds. Now, the ETFs are usually a basket of several companies that have brought their shares together. And so when you buy an ETF, you have bought several portions of several companies. So for example, the S&P 500 on the American stock exchange market is a typical fund like that. When you buy a portion there, you have bought shares from several companies, which gives so much benefit or so much returns, even sometimes better than ordinary shares. But today we are not talking about ETFs. We are not talking about mutual funds. Neither are we talking about bonds. Our attention is on shares and others. Thank you, Madam. Can we move on to the next slide, please? Next slide. Thank you very much. Now we talk about who is listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange market. But I think one question that you were going to ask me was that, Pastor, when we open the stock exchange market from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., can I walk to the market myself to go and buy? So before I talk about who is listed on the stock exchange market, let me talk about who can be able to go and buy on the stock exchange market. So typically, Professor Yete has some money. Say he has 1,000 Ghana cedis, and he wants to go and buy shares of MTN Ghana Limited. Can he go to the stock exchange market like he's going to buy tomatoes for some stew, or he wants to buy some yam, just like that? No. You need to get an intermediary who is a licensed dealership company that the law has permitted them to be able to intermediate between the company that is selling their shares and you and I who wants to be shareholders. And so these licensed dealership companies will take your money and go to the stock exchange market and buy the shares you said you wanted. However, the time that they are going to spend to make sure they buy the shares, process it, and give it to you, they are going to charge something we call brokerage fees. And so these companies usually, or AKA, they are also called, apart from the name I mentioned, they are also called brokerage firms or brokerage entities. These are organizations that by law have been mandated to be able to serve as intermediary between those who want to buy shares and then those who are trading shares. One beautiful thing is that when you become a shareholder of company and you trade through a broker, and then the broker, you are able to personalize your relationship with the broker. What they can do for you is that sometimes they can be able to do the analysis early in the morning and tell you that, oh, Prof, for today, we think that MTN shares are going to do well. So if you want to sell any of your MTN shares, you can sell some. But if I look at Car Bank, today their share value will be going down. So if you want to buy for the longest period of time, then can you go and buy more of the Car Bank shares? So before I talk about those who are listed on the stock exchange market, I need to be quick to mention to you that there are dealership companies that are staying on the stock exchange market. Their main work is to be able to take you and I our money and buy on our behalf. Now, one beautiful thing I need to draw your attention to is that you can have more than one broker. You can have more than one broker. Yes, you are not required by law to stick with a particular broker. You can have several brokers. And so, for example, when I was buying MTN shares, I use IC. That is one of the brokerage firms. When I was buying Atlantic Lithium, I used Black Star, So it is dependent on the kind of share. And one beautiful thing is that when you come to even in our own practice or our own daily activities, those of you are doctors and professors, there are some of your colleagues who can easily assess you. When I say assess, to have access to you or come to closer to you. Or there are some calls you and I cannot just overlook those calls. As soon as you see them, no matter how the hour may be, you may be willing to pick. The same thing applies to these brokerage firms. Some of them have very good relationship with some entities. So as soon as you use them to buy some shares, it becomes very, very faster. For example, if you want to buy MTN shares, IC Wealth is faster when you are getting MTN shares. But if you want to get Zen and then say Atlantic Lithium, Black Star will be very, very fast. I remember when I wanted to buy Car Bank shares and I wanted to use Black Star. It took forever for the shares to be bought for me. But as soon as I used IC, within a shorter period of time, my shares were in and ready for me. But the question I think someone will be willing to ask me before I even go there is that, do I just get up and buy the shares? No, you don't just get up and buy the shares. First of all, the brokerage firm should be able to help you to lead you to open a CSD account. A CSD account. And as I'm moving on, I'm going to explain it into detail. The CSD account will be like the basket into which you are going to keep your shares. So while your bank account is keeping your money, I know Dr. Ashley has a bank account with, say, maybe Car Bank. That is where her salary and other monies go. So you keep that money there. But when it comes to your shares, these equity investment that you have, another name for the shares is your equity investment. You are a part owner of the company. It's your CSD account in which you need to put the money. And so when you put your money in the CSD account, when you put your shares in the CSD account, at any point in time, you can be able to access it, even if the brokerage firm collapses, because the CSD account are held with another institution, a banking institution, which takes care of all those things. So even if the brokerage firm dies, you will not lose your shares. Please, can we move on to the next slide? Next slide, please. And so these are some of the companies that are listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange market: MTN Ghana Limited, EcoBank, Guinness Ghana, Ghana Oil, GCB, Total Energies, among others. Very, very, very well. So the question is that how do I buy shares on the Ghana Stock Exchange market? This is a question I'm asking.
Pastor, please, I've moved the slide. Hello. The sound went off, or I'm the only one who can't hear anything, please.
Hello.
It's been up for some
Hello.
time.
Calling me.
Hello.
We all
Hello.
can't see anything.
Hello. Osofo is back here.
Support me.
Hello. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Network is
Hello.
bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it better? Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Okay. I'm glad. My own network went off, so I'm using another number line to join.
The network
My
issue.
wife's line to join.
Wow.
Yeah, okay. So I was trying to talk about how to buy shares on the Ghana Stock Exchange market.
Around, I had an idea.
So I was trying to talk about the Ghana Stock Exchange market, how to be able to buy shares. So first of all, you get your broker. So that I'm sure someone will get, how do I get the brokers? When you go to the exchange market, the registered brokers are there. Data Bank is part, IC Wealth is part, CDH Securities is there, Marban Stock Brokers, Black Star Brokerage. All these are stock exchange market listed. These are, we call them the licensed dealing members, the LDMs, or the brokerage firms. So you need to get one of them, and then you do all your registrations with them. And they will open for you the Central Securities Depository, which is called the CSD account. And so when the CSD account is open for you, it is going to hold all your shares. That is the beauty of it. Now, another thing is that you now, like I said, you now instruct your brokers to now be buying the shares for you. So all that you need to do is that you put some money in an account that they can easily have access and be buying for you from time to time. And then you buy the shares, they will send you something we call the contract note, telling you the number of shares that you have bought, the value of the shares that you bought, and all those things will be for you. And from time to time, you can be able to monitor your shares, the amount of shares that you have based on your CSD statement. But some people someone asked a question last week. So does that mean that when I bought the shares on the app, I don't need the CSD account or what? The truth of the matter is that there is a central deposit account and there's an omnibus account. All the companies that are acting as brokerage firms that have apps like the ones I made you download, the IC Wealth account and the brokerage, the Blackstar app. When you use the app to buy the shares, it doesn't go into your personal CSD account, but rather it goes into an omnibus, a central omnibus account. That does not belong to an individual. It doesn't belong to an individual, but it houses all those who are trading on the app. All those people trading on the app. Your shares are in the omnibus account. And so someone will say that, hey, then what will happen to my shares in case the brokerage firm dies? In case the brokerage firm dies, because of your contract note that was given to you, you will not lose your shares. But what I've been doing practically is that anytime I buy the shares on the app, I draw the brokerage firm's attention, and then I make them move my shares that I bought on the app to go and sit in my CSD account. By telling them, you give them your CSD account and then they will do the transfers for you. And so these are some of the modalities around buying your shares on the stock exchange market. Can we move on to the next slide? Next slide, please. And so someone will be asking, what is the best share to buy? How do I decide on the best share to buy for myself? And these are some of the factors. This is where you need your accountants to help you. But even without the accountants, I prefer to advise you in this way. Which companies are you using their services or their goods? So me, I use MTN. I use their Momo. So I decided to buy their shares. I have an account with Car Bank. So I decided to buy their shares. And so any product that you use and you feel the company is doing well, you can buy their shares. But technically, there are some factors that we use in determining whether or not a company is doing well, so I can be able to buy their shares. There's something we call the price-earning ratio, which I do not really want to bore you with the details of it so much. But the price-earning ratio is looking at how much did you buy the shares. So the share price divided by how much you are earning per share. And so if I look at the amount that I use in buying the shares, and I divide it by the amount I'm earning per each share, that one will be able to help me to determine whether or not the company is doing well. And so that is the price earning ratio. We also have the earnings per share, which I think that one is the easiest way to go. The question is that MTN Ghana Limited is saying that they are paying dividends now. And so sometimes they will tell you that, oh, we are paying dividends of, say, 1 cedi per share, 50 pesos per share, 10 pesos per share. Currently, one of the rural banks I have shares, they are paying, the price of the share is 10 pesos, and they say they are paying 20% to you. It means that they will be paying 2 pesos per share. You see, and that is your earnings per share. If I have 1,000 shares and they are giving me 20%, it means that I'm going to have 200 to myself. And this is very, very, very much important that you take into consideration. Dividend yield, return on equity, all these things are some of the factors that we take into consideration before we invest. But one of the things is that those of you who are doctors here, whenever the doctor goes to the hospital, usually you have an instrument that they call stethoscope. For now, I really don't know what the doctors use it for, but I'm sure it helps them in diagnosing diseases. The accountants also have a stethoscope that we use to assess whether or not a company is doing well. It's their cash flow statement. Among all the financial statement that is prepared, there's one that measures how liquid that the company has in terms of cash and the level of cash that they have. And so if you look at the operating activities of the entity, and then that operating activity which measures the routine operations of the organization in question is making losses in that area, then that company is not worth investing. That company is not worth investing in there. So it is very, very much important that you and I will not overlook these things. So basically, these are some of the ways to be able to decide whether or not you are going to invest in another company. Let's move on, madam. So I've seen a question here. In a situation where the company is not folding up, are the original shareholders paid more dividends? It is a yes and no. Actually, when someone is, depending on the type of organization, when you are giving preference shares, sometimes it is certain benefit that is given to them. That's why their shares are called preference shares. Other than that, they are no better than the ordinary shareholders in terms of dividends. Yes. And so it appears we are almost all the time taking the same shares. But in the most of the advanced world where they have advanced so much in terms of these shares and investment and other things, Some preferred stocks are able to get some benefit in terms of right issues and bonus issues, among others. But for now, what I can say is that primary shareholders, which are the ordinary shareholders, they receive dividend sometimes even the same as the preference shareholder. Just that sometimes they are given an upper right in terms of voting rights, access to board membership, among others. All these things are given over them. And so, like I said, I mentioned earlier something we call the CI, or the Ghana Stock Exchange Market Composite Index. The Ghana Stock Exchange Market Composite Index, one way or the other, explains into detail how the stock exchange market in general is performing. The higher the IC or the CI, the better. And so if you look at the sub-region, Ghana has our CI, or our composite index, around 73%, 72.52%, which shows that the stock exchange market is generally what? Performing in terms of returns and then its operations, which is very, very, very good for someone to invest. And it is one of the best in the sub-region. Can we move on now? Let's move on. Yes, let's move on, please. Let's move on to the next slide.
Please, I've moved it. I think it just takes a little while.
So thank you very much. And so we are going to the how to be able to build your investment portfolio. And this is the part I need you to follow critically. There are some people, as soon as they hear that, oh, GCB shares are doing well, they will pick all their money and go and buy GCB shares. So when GCB shares begin to have problems, they will have problems. But one thing I can advise you is that if you are someone who is serious about the investment, at least have 5 to 10 shares in your portfolio. So you have some rural banks shares, you have some telecommunication industry, those who are in manufacturing, those who are into manufacturing, banking, and then you put all of them into your portfolio. So your basket in which you put your investment in is called what we call the portfolio. So whenever I'm talking about my portfolio, I'm talking about the different kinds of investment I have in there. And sometimes the portfolio is not usually even about the shares that you are bought. It is also talking about your real estate investment that you have. If you have been able to build a house somewhere that you are giving it out for Airbnb, it's beautiful. It's part of your portfolio. If you have a farmland somewhere, it is part of your portfolio. All these things go to sit into your portfolio. So if you want to really build your portfolio, I want to show you this formula, how to go about it. For me, I think that all of us here, one way or the other, need to be able to build an emergency fund. Sometimes you are there and your car gets broken down, and you have to spend thousands of Ghana cedis, thousands of Ghana cedis, which is very, very, very sometimes worrying. So you create an emergency fund that will be able to cater for emergency expenses that you have not budgeted for. And so we want to always encourage that at least you are able to save 3 to 6 months of your salary in this emergency fund to cater for health emergencies, vehicle emergencies, and other emergencies that comes, so that you can be able to deal with it very well. So how do you do this? You can be able to use the 10-10-80 formula, the 60-40 formula, or the 20% rule, where every money that comes to you, 20% of that earnings go to sit into this emergency fund. Actually, this emergency fund should be liquid as possible. So you can put it in an FD or a treasury bill investment, so that anytime that you want it, you can be able to terminate it and get it for yourself. And then the level 2 is the safest return. Whilst you are investing in shares and other things, you can also have some small amount of your money in treasury bill for a longer period of time. As soon as you start your marital life, the day you are done with your wedding, whatever comes into your hands, at least put some thousand, 10,000, 20,000 in a treasury bill for a long period of time. So as and when your marriage is growing, your deposit that you have also will also be growing, and you'll be surprised that the eighth wonder of the world will do you a great service when you do that thing. Because when you invest 1,500 for the next 10 years, it will not be the same 1,500, especially when it's roll over with interest. So once the principal is growing, the interest will also be growing, and that one can also be able to help you so much. And then you can also buy some mutual funds. And as Adnan, like I said today, I'm not talking about mutual funds. Mutual funds are usually professional organizations that have invested in almost all the investment avenues that we have. And then they will sell portions to you. And then when you hold it, it will give you return from time to time. And then you can also have the stocks. And so this is how we go about building portfolio. If I want to go further, there are others that you can also add to your portfolio, such as the real estate that I can have, the farmlands, and then even some transport businesses along the line, which can also be able to help you very, very, very well. Now, the Airbnb is an area where I'm going to do a webinar on not long from now. This year I traveled to the Ozidita City Hall, and when I went, I couldn't get a very good place to sleep in terms of a guest house or hotel because the place was fully booked. We're doing a conference there. And so some colleagues were able to explore and got an Airbnb. We're there for a week. And then it was a 3-bedroom apartment, fully finished. Very beautiful place. And the guy is charging 5,600. And within a week, we are gone. And he gets his money. He doesn't have any incidentals to buy, although there are little consumables you need to buy, but it is nowhere compared to the management cost you need to incur for a hotel or or a guest house. So it is very, very, very much important that we pay attention to it. Yes, can we move on now? Can we move on? Can we move on? Move on to the next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay, so I've talked about the Ghanaian investment ladder. Can we move on? I've talked about treasury bills. I've talked about mutual funds. Let's move on. But one thing about the treasury bills that most of us do not know is that whenever you're going to buy treasury bills and we say it is for 91 days and the interest rate is 10%, it means that interest rate is not is per annum, the whole year. So if you want to calculate the interest that you're going to earn, it is 10% multiplied by 91 over 365 days, multiplied by the principal amount that you are investing. That one will determine the interest that you're going to earn on your treasury bill. And so on treasury bill, when you're going to buy treasury bill and they tell you the rate is 10% and you are buying it for 91 days, it means that you are going to multiply 10% by 91 over 365, and then you multiply by the amount that you are investing. So if you are investing, say, 10,000, it means that every month, every 3 months, or every 91 days, an amount of 10,000 will give you 249 cedis, 32 pesos, provided the interest rate is 10%. So if you do a rollover with interest, it means that the 10,000 that you invested originally in the second quarter or the next 91 days will add the 249 Ghana cedis, 32 pesos to the 10,000 and reinvest it. So it means that now the principal has moved from 10,000 that you originally started with to 10,249 Ghana cedis, 32 pesos. And then it moves on and on and on. So as long as you continue to invest and moves on, it will be giving you the compounding benefit of it. That is, You're going to earn interest on the principal, and then you are going to earn interest on the returns that you had on the investment. Very, very, very well. And then mutual funds in Ghana. Today, I will not spend much time here in mutual funds. So let's move on to the next slide. Let's move on to the next slide. Let's move on to the next slide. Okay, now let me hold on here. Please, your portfolio, the structure of your portfolio is also dependent on your risk appetite. Some of us are very conservative. Even when they want to do investment, they will cross-check, and ask questions. Accountant, we what think? When you say, yeah, about boa. If you are very conservative, then you may not want to go into T-bills, money market funds, like you are going to the secondary market to sell your money to get more returns, or probably you want to buy FDs and keep your money, or buy some shares on the stock exchange market. And so in terms of your allocation, you can keep 60% there, 30% in the money market fund, and then the Ghana stock exchange market can do 10%, where you are very conservative. But if you are moderate, you are someone who is able to take a little risk, then you can put 30% into FDs, mutual funds, and then at least put 30% of your earnings into the Ghana stock exchange market. And then those who are very aggressive, the aggressive people who are risk takers, you can put as much as 60% of your savings into the stock exchange market. And remember, one thing in the beginning I didn't mention that I need to draw your attention to is that if you are someone who is seeking to get returns within today and tomorrow, then the stock market cannot be so good for you. Although now Casapreco started their IPO at 120 pesos, and now as of yesterday, Casapreco share was 191 pesos. So it means that those who bought from the start during the IPO and were able to invest in 100,000, these people have been able to make so much in addition to their money. So even if they sell their shares now, they can get very good returns. But it is not worth selling it now and getting the money to yourself. But sometimes the better you are able to hold that share, the longer you're able to hold that share, the better the returns. Let's take, for example, MTN Ghana Limited is now around 60-45% or 60-55 pesos. It was originally sold at 75 pesos per share. And so if you hold it for this number of years, you can see the tremendous impact it will have for you. That is why shares are usually long-term investments that requires a lot of patience and timing to be able to do that, which is very, very, very important. Very, very important. Good. Can we move on to the next slide, please? So now, before we move on to the next slide, let me pause here and request for questions and clarification before we move on.
Hello, Pastor.
Yes, you can talk.
Okay. This one is not really about what you are actually doing, but I want to know if there will be a recording so that, because the network is really bad, it comes.
Oh, yeah. There's a recording. It is recorded.
All right.
It's fully recorded, so don't worry.
Thank you very much.
Hello.
Hi, talk.
Yes, Pastor. Please, thank you very much for the opportunity. Assuming I'm advising a client, me as an accountant, and maybe a client comes to me and wants to find out whether to buy, let's say, a short liquidity like a T-bill for either 91 days or 365 days, or half a year one. I know that sometimes the rate will be different from if we were buying for a whole year. So which one do you think normally it's advisable to advise the person to participate or patronize 91 days, half year, or full year? I want to know, sir.
Thank you very much. A good question. Now, for me, I really don't encourage people to go and lock their money for a whole year in T-bill. I really don't do that. But some people think that it's kind of better on 1 year treasury bill. If you are someone who thinks about the value of your money and the possibility of getting the money back soon, I usually want to always recommend 91 days roll over with interest. So that by the time that the year, someone will invest a whole year without any rollover, the one who invested for 91 days might have done at least 2 or 3 rollovers by the end of the year, which sometimes the difference between the interest will be smaller. However, I can easily be able to wait for a quarter to end to get my money and my interest than to wait for a whole year before I can get my money and my interest. Because if you don't wait till the end of the year and you want to just get your money right away, definitely you know that you're going to lose portions of the interest that you are due. So I don't really encourage people to just get up and go and lock their money in T-bills for 1 year. If you do that, then maybe you are a person who maybe is not anticipating any challenge in terms of money. But if you are the type who may need your money sometimes early, I always advise you do it for 3 months rollover. And then for the purpose of compounding, why not do it every quarter? It rolls over, or every 9 months it rolls over to help you so much. That was a good question. Thank you. Any questions again for me?
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Pastor,
Yes, there's one following question.
Yeah, in the chat box regarding
Can I go ahead, sir?
Can I? Is someone on floor?
Please talk. Senior, I will get back to you. Let him finish.
All right. So was asking what do qualifies and can I go ahead, please?
Yes.
Yes, what do qualifies an entity to be listed on the stock exchange? That was my first question. And the second was, is it by compulsion that as a firm gets to certain pedestal in their growth, they are mandated by law to be listed? Or it is a choice an entity makes to enter into the stock market? All right, thank you.
That's a very good question. Can I take the next person so that I will answer them in turn? Can I take the next person? Senior Sami, you were on the call.
I was going to ask whether in buying shares, a brokerage firm can help you to buy shares in bit. For instance, now, let's say I have a time where every month there's a deduction from my account as premium into that insurance policy. Do we have a brokerage firm that also allows one to buy shares on installment basis? Is it allowed, permitted in this way? I want to know, sir. Hello, sir.
Yes, I can hear you.
I don't know whether you got my question. I was asking whether...
Hold on. I got your question. So
okay,
now let me start with the one you just ended. Whether a brokerage firm can have an arrangement with you that from time to time they can deduct from your account and buy shares of a particular company. They can do that. Usually they can do that. That's why when you go to open the account the CSD account, they are able to link. You need to be able to have an account, a share account there, that they can be able to, when they sell, they deposit into it, and when they also when they are also buying, they can get a place to deduct. You can also have that arrangement with your brokerage firm to be able to have some deductions and pay. But one beautiful thing is that most of the brokerage firms will want you to instruct them on what to do on monthly basis. But you can go into certain arrangement with them. But sometimes, if you are an individual like you and I, we may not be buying a lot of shares at a go. We may not be buying a lot of shares at a go. So sometimes most of the brokerage firms are reluctant. But if it is a rural bank share that you are buying, for them, as soon as you deposit into your account, they can do a direct deduction and then add it to your share account, and you're good to go. So my answer is that yes, it is possible for you to have such an arrangement with a brokerage firm. Now, the next question I want to ask is, the next question I want to answer is the one given by our colleague who said that, is it compulsory for a firm at some point in time to list? And what is the requirement for listing? For the requirement for listing, there are many. They are there. You need to satisfy them. Bank of Securities and Exchange Commission, and then the Ghana Stock Exchange Market has some listing requirements that you need to fulfill before you can be able to list. However, nobody is under compulsion to list. Let's say, for example, Papa Kwame Despite has been around for long. He's a business mogul, doing so many businesses, but none of his businesses are listed or is listed on the stock exchange market. You are not under compulsion, but sometimes when you go public, another word for listing on the stock exchange market is going public. When you list on the stock exchange market, you kind of give yourself that opportunity for any person within the public space who has resources to invest in your business. And then listing on the stock exchange market also adds certain level of credibility, because when you list on the stock exchange market, you are required to furnish your financial statement on time. There are a lot of requirements you need to meet before you can be able to list on the stock exchange market. And when you list on the stock exchange market too, you also become international, because now we have brothers and sisters who are even in the UK, Nigeria, Namibia, foreigners who are able to access our stock exchange market through the digital medium to be able to buy and sell shares. So when you do that, it gives you some opportunity, and your trustworthiness and your credibility also improves so much. But you are not under any privilege forced to be able to list on the stock exchange market. We are very good. We have very good banks operating in Ghana, but they are not listed on stock exchange market. Even Telecel is not listed on the Ghana stock exchange market. It took MTN a longer period of time for them to move from a space phone Ariba to MTN. Even to list on the stock exchange market, I think the conversation started somewhere 2016 and 2017. They did the IPO, and then finally they were listed on the stock exchange market. So it's all about you, the company, what you want, and the kind of investors you want to attract. Even now, Bank of Ghana is now in conversation to let the community banks, you know that now rural banks are no more called rural banks, they are now community banks. So they want to have an alternative market where they can even trade their shares. That is why from here, those of you who will be interested in investing in the rural bank I have invested, I'll be so glad to introduce you to it. And then you buy shares, especially when the share price is 10 pesos per share. It means that when you buy 1,000 cedis, you are having 10,000 shares for yourself, which is a very good investment. And then their dividends too is good, very well. Please, do we have any other questions for me before we move on to the next session?
Okay, I think, Pastor, the past week, some of us joined the lecture when you had started to point. Can you reiterate on the app you suggested to be downloaded to enable us enter into the market?
Okay. Please, do you have any other questions for me? Okay, so please, I will deal with that. Don't worry. Your request, I will deal with it. Please, can we move on to the next slide? And let's go to the practical session now. Move on to the next slide. Move, please. Move. I'll come here later. Let's go. Let's go. So these are 5 things I need you to do this week. Make sure that you open a CSD account. Make sure you go and check on your pension contribution. Some of us have contributed to Senate for a long time, GOS and other things. They don't even know how much they have in their pensions. If there's an omission, it will just go against them straight away like that. I had a very bad experience one day when I was following up on some of our establishments at KN University. And then I go there, and an old lady came crying that her pension is not coming. She's not been getting money. And then they went to her statement, they checked, and then she stopped contributing 20 years ago. Meanwhile, she was working for a company that the company was deducting the money. Unfortunately, the company had also collapsed. So Snake could not do anything about it for her. So I encourage you to make sure you do that for me and check very well and begin to work on building your portfolio, which is very, very, very much important. And then write your investment goal for 2026. If you have not done it, please list it. Write it down, how you want your investment to go in 2026. The investment goal will be the amount of shares you want to get in certain companies, the little savings you want to have somewhere, and other investment packages you want to put into your portfolio. Begin to grow them now. It is going to go a long way to help you. Let's go, Madam. Let's go to the next slide. Let's go. Good. Now let us go to the practical session. The practical session. This is the part I want you to follow with me. Can you move on? Move on. Push a little to the next one. And so the first app we are going to use is the IC Wealth app. On the page, we put the IC Wealth app there. You know, the IC app of a brokerage firm. So it is going to ask you all the details that the brokerage firm would have taken, including your bank account details and where you want to receive your dividends and all your benefits. It is going to ask you all those ones. So I don't know how many of us have been able to download the app so far and have been able to fill the form and got it running. Is there anyone here who was able to use the IC Wealth app? Anyone, please? Yes, please. Let me know that person. Your name, please.
Yes, please. I'm Ifwa Uswansa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where have you been able to get to in terms of the app, the usage of the app?
I just created it, waiting to be told what to do next. So I was to upload my picture or take a picture of myself and my ID card,
your Ghana card.
Upload it. I write the number in addition to uploading it, both the front and the back.
Yes.
And I can't remember whether that was the one that asked me for my bank details as well.
Yeah. Yes. Please, is there any other person here who has been able to download the IC Wealth app?
Yeah, I downloaded it too and filled everything. And then just, I think yesterday on my phone test out, I sent a message that I should go back on the app
Hey,
and answer some, which I
hey,
haven't
someone
done.
is giving me a feedback I don't like. Hold on. Let me mute everyone. Hey, online class. These are some of the challenges we have with online school. Someone is giving me a
Whether the
background.
person can be muted from the top. I'm muting.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so thank you very much. So when you are done with it, when you have been able to log on onto your IC Wealth account, it is going to ask you to give an initial capital, And for me, I didn't give any initial capital. I didn't put any amount of money into the initial capital. However, that is where you're going to do your trading from. So you can just put 100 cedis or 200 cedis into that account. But today, for the purpose of easy understanding and ability to move very fast, the IC World app is quite complicated for some people. So I just want to use the normal Momo account to do the trading live, and maybe we'll come to the Black Star, and maybe later on, those of you who want to use the IC Wealth app account, because the IC Wealth account is connected to the Momo app, and the Momo app is easier and simpler. And so when you have done a little trading on the Momo app, then we will now graduate and come to the IC Wealth. And by then, we might have pushed you to be able to get your CSD account and all those other things. So is it okay by you if we go and use the Momo app for simple understanding? Then we'll now come to the Blaster app to show how we can be able to deal with it. If it is okay with you, let me hear you. Let me hear you. Let me hear you.
Yes, it's okay.
I wish we use the IC Wealth since we're still came back to that process.
No, the IC Wealth is connected to the Momo app. It has a lot of technicalities that most of us, from now, for the first time, may have a little challenge with it. But let me use the Momo app to be able to explain and take you through. And when you understand, those individuals who want us to go to the trading on the IC Wealth, then I can have that conversation privately with you and then show you how to do with it. And then you're good to go. So for me, I'm using the IC Wealth app, I'm using the Black Star app, and I'm also using the Momo app, all the three together. But I want to show you the simple one that will make the trading activity easier. Okay. Please, are you all okay there?
Yes, please.
Hello. So please, when you are done talking, you mute yourself so that we don't get any feedback. Thank you. So first of all, let me try and go a little into the IC Wealth account. When you are done registration, everything, and they ask you initial capital you want to put there, you may decide how much, the amount of money you want to put there. So if you want to put, say, 100 cedis, you just upload it from your Momo account or your bank account and put it into your IC liquidity fund account. There's an IC liquidity fund account. I wish the network was good so that I can show my screen to show these things, all the movements. But it's unfortunate the network is very bad. But can you, I don't know whether you have opened your IC Wealth account. If you open it, the front page has welcome back and your name is there. The next thing is total holdings. So if you have already bought shares, it will show you your total holdings. And then just beneath that, there will be a trade life portfolio, which will also be there. And then it will also list for you the various shares that you have traded. Hello, are we following? How many of us have the CSD account, the IC
Yes,
Wealth
please.
account?
Yeah, I'm following.
Yes. And so you need to be able to put some
But
money into your IC liquidity fund account. Don't worry, I'll come to the Momo. I just want to show those who are using the IC Wealth account how they are supposed to go. I'll go to the Momo very soon. Are we there?
Yes, please.
Those of us who have the yes, those of you have the IC Wealth account. And then down there is a dashboard, a liquidity fund, trade life, and insights. Dashboard. When you click on the dashboard, that it gives you this interface, the opening, the first interface. And then you go to the liquidity fund. The liquidity fund, that is where you try to put some money in there. So if you want to invest in the IC liquidity fund, you can put some money in it and then be able to get yourself some. Hello? Somebody, are you here? Can you hear me?
Can hear you.
We can hear you.
Good. So those of us with the IC liquidity fund, the IC Wealth app, I'm just trying to show you the various sessions there. There is a dashboard, there is a place for the liquidity fund, and there's a place for trade life. There's a place for trade life. Please, have you seen that? Have you seen the place for trade life?
Yes, please.
So when you click on the trade life, you can see the shares that are listed there. Have you seen those shares? Please, have you seen the shares
Pastor, please,
that are there?
please, can you come back again in terms of you open to?
You go to the trade life. You click on trade life. Trade life.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Yes, please.
So have you seen the shares, the companies there? Have you seen the companies
Yes,
there?
please. Yes, please.
So you look at the companies that are there and you decide when you click on it. Can you click on the first one, MTN? MTN is number one. Can you see it?
Yes.
Have you seen MTN?
Yes.
So click on it. And so it will open for you to either sell or what? Buy.
Bye.
Yes. And so when you click on buy, it will now tell you the number of shares you can buy or the number of shares you want to buy and or the amount of money you want to invest. Are you there?
Yes, but it shows the amount that is the price, but in terms of available funds is zero because I don't have any account yet.
You don't have any account and you have not put any money in the account yet. So that is how you do your trading. That's how you do your trading. It's just so easy with the apps. But my professional advice is that please try and get your CSD account first. If you want to get the CSD account, you can walk to the IC office or data bank office at or you can even call them on phone and they will guide you to be able to get the CSD account from which you can trade. And as soon as you get the CSD account with IC, you can see all your shares that you buy on the front page of the app or on the the Trade Life portion of the app, which is very good. Are you okay here?
Yes, please.
Yes, there's a gentleman who was insisting I do the IC well. Please, were you able to follow?
Yes, sir. I'm following. I've not
No,
actually
I'm not. I'm trying to.
completed the cycle, but I wanted to emphasize the fact that you come back to the ICL. That's why I was proposing you focus on the IC. But I will definitely follow the guidance you are giving, sir.
Thank you. Please, can we go to the normal Momo app now?
Yes.
Let's go to the normal Momo app.
If infections continue to rise, more than 35,000 cases reported this year, and that's nearly double last year's number. Reserves for mountainous reports.
Pastor, can I ask a question?
Yes, Prof. You can ask your question, please.
The IC World Cup seems to ask for lots of details, quite lots of information. Who protects all that information? Who actually owns the app as well? Thank you.
Okay, Prof. Thank you very much. Actually, that app is owned by the IC World brokerage firm. IC World brokerage firm. That's why I said that those of us who are quite data protection concerns, we start with the Momo app. And when we are far advanced and we have been able to establish a very good relationship with either IC World or any of the brokerage firms, then we can comfortably use their apps. But for me, I have been using the app for some time now, which is good. Prof, I hope I've answered your question, please.
Okay. Once things are well protected, that's okay.
Oh, things are
Thank you
really
very
protected
much.
there. Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, Madam, please, can we move on to the next app? The next slide. Yes, the MTN Momo app plus the IC Trade Life. So when you go to the MTN app, can we all open our MTN app? And please, as soon as you start using the MTN app for trading, you should have a very good password or even what do they call it? Fingerprint. So that people cannot just get up and access your account, because when you invest a lot there and someone is able to get there, the person can easily sell the shares at any price at all and then take your money away. So please, as soon as you do that, you do the investment using your Momo app, you need to really secure it. But very important. Please, have you been able to open your Momo app?
Yes,
Please, I have a question.
No,
Okay,
please.
please ask your question.
So the MTN app doesn't allow you to get, if you don't have an MTN number. I mean, it looks like you need an MTN number to be able to get this Momo app, right?
Good.
Yes, please.
Just enter a SIM card, a SIM whatever. I don't have it. I keep on. I've not been able to do it.
So then does using the IC Wealth or the Black Star require you to have the Momo app as well?
No,
Because
you don't need the Momo app for anything.
Okay.
They are independent apps that you can use for the trading. But with all the apps, the Momo app seems not to take a lot of information. It is easy to use it to trade as a first timer. And as you advance and then you go through the various, it took me some time to be able to investigate the Black Star app go through it very well before I allowed myself that kind of information to go, you know. So if you are the kind of if you don't want to just give any information out there just like that, then I prefer that. That's why I was talking about the Momo app. You know how to be able to navigate it and make it very, very easy for you. So those of us who are first timers, I encourage you to use the Momo app, get to know the buying and selling, do the reading. And if you want to use the IC Wealth and the Black Star, if you're around KNUST or anything, you can just walk to the office. I'll show you all those things there. And then even you can get the contact of IC Wealth and then call them to get your CSD account open, or even Data Bank can help you to do that. But I will want to show you how to do the trading yourself when you are finally through with all the processes of getting your own CSD account, and do the trading yourself by using the apps. I don't know whether you have been able to open the Momo app. Please, if you have done it, as soon as the interface comes, you realize that there's a place for a balance, deposit, ally cash out statement. And there is a place for you, pay, buy, financial services. Financial services. So when you click on the financial services, please, have you clicked on the financial services? Financial services,
Yes.
are you there?
Yes, please.
You see that at the right corner, at the right middle corner, let me see, yes, the right middle corner, there is an arrow with invest. There's an arrow there that says invest.
Yes.
And so when you click on it, it will open a page for you that has Grow For Me, I See Well, and Trade Life. Grow For Me, I See Well, and Trade Life. And
Yes,
it is
please.
trading activity you want to do. So you click on you click on Trade Life. You click on Trade Life. You click on Trade Life. And so you can see there's a button for buy shares, sell shares, and pending orders. Buy shares, sell shares, and pending orders. So if I want to buy shares, it's a matter of just clicking on buy shares. And then it will bring me all the companies that are listed with their current share prices. It will bring me all the companies that I've listed with their current share prices. And then when I click on the company I want to buy their shares, let's take, for example, Car Bank. Can you click on Car Bank? Can you click on Car Bank?
Pastor, it's asking us to register first before you can do anything. It seems when you get there, you've got to register. So some of us are not registered in there yet.
Okay. Then you need to do that. I'm also going to show you another option, because now when you buy the shares, there's no place you have to keep it, or you can keep it because you are not registered. You don't have a CSD account, and so it will be extremely difficult for you to be able to get the trading done. Because when you buy the shares, it has to be kept in your name, and you need to get the contract note for yourself. That's why you need to do all the necessary registration in order to be able to do the trading.
Pastor, again, it's taking us to the IC
Yes,
Wealth.
sir.
When it tells you to register, it takes you to the IC Wealth.
Yes.
In the Momo
Hello.
accounts, when you click register, it takes you to the IC Wealth.
When you click on register, it takes you to the IC Wealth.
Yeah, that you should register with IC Wealth.
Yes. Actually, the IC Wealth are the brokerage, like I said, the brokerage firm that has that collaboration with MTN to be doing the buying and selling of the shares. Please, do you understand?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. But the way
Okay.
you were saying we should proceed with the next steps, that's why I wanted to draw your attention that you had to register, and to register you
Okay.
had to just go back still to the IC well. So it looks like we cannot run away from the
Uh,
IC well.
okay. 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 Please, is there anyone here who has a challenge? Hello. So we need to register, and then we can be able to do the trading ourselves. Please, is there anyone here who have also registered on the Blackstar app?
Yes.
Please.
Been able to, yes. The IC World is the one here, and the Moon one. The last time, yes.
Okay. So if you have done the Blackstar app, it also has a similar process like the IC Wealth. As soon as you are done with the registration, there is an initial deposit you need to put into your account, say 100 cedis or 200 cedis. And then you go to the market and then buy. But the beauty of the Blackstar app, that is very much important, is that you can use the Blackstar app to buy shares from the American stock exchange market. And you can also use it to buy shares in the Ghana stock exchange market. Please, is there anyone here who has done full registration of the Blackstar app? Anyone here?
Yes.
Yes, please.
So, as soon as we open the interface, there's a place down there, a stream down. You have markets, you have account, you have invest, you have wallet and profile. And so, like we were saying today, we want to look at only stocks. So, on the top there, you have indices and you have stocks. So, when you click on the stocks, it is going to give you on the line where we have markets, global. And when you pull down, you have Ghana. Please, have you seen that one? When you click on stocks, just beneath it, there's markets. And then as part of, on the same line with the market, there's a pull down, you can pull global and Ghana. And that gives you the right to be able to buy shares on the global market, i.e. America, and that of Ghana. You can also do that. Hello? Hello? Please, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we are with you.
So those of us on the Blackstar app, I'm just trying to show you how to be able to navigate between the Ghana Stock Exchange market and the global market. And as we open the interface, you can see there's a place for quick access. There's indices, there's stocks, there's fixed income, ETFs, mutual funds, currency, commodity, crypto, and news. All those things are on the same line. And then when you click on the stocks, just beneath it, we have markets. And in the market, direct opposite to it, there is a place where you can be able to navigate global and then Ghana. Global and Ghana. So if you want to do globally, if you want to buy shares globally, as soon as you click on global, it will bring you all the shares that we have. We have X now there. Even the SpaceX, something that Elon Musk just launched, you can see it on the global page where you can easily be able to trade your shares or buy shares directly. Buy shares directly, you know. And so that has to do with the advantage that the Blackstar app has over the other apps. But you need to be mindful that when you're going to buy in shares in another country, usually it's supposed to be in dollars, and you need to be able to know the company very well so that you don't just get up and buy shares from any place at all. That's why a lot of Ghanaians were happy to buy shares from SpaceX, because SpaceX, we know it belongs to Elon Musk, and there was a lot of noise around it. So people were able to prepare and get themselves the opportunity of buying SpaceX shares. You can see Google as a company is also on the global page. You can try to invest. Currently, their share price is $368.20. $368.02, which is good amount of money per share. Yes, per share.
Hey.
Because when they started selling their shares, I think it was 49 cents. And now their share price is now 368. So imagine someone bought 10,000 shares. Even now, if someone even has 1,000 shares at Google, the person has very good money in Ghanaian terms. So that has to do with the Blackstar app. Now, I've introduced you to it, and I've shown you how to be able to navigate it. My interest that I want to pursue from here is that if you want to now get ready and begin to buy the shares after you have done your CSD account, you can get in touch. And then step by step, we will now do the trading live yourself, because most of us have not even loaded our wallets, neither do we have any cash in our accounts for the trading. If you are now done, we'll be able to get your CSD account and everything you want to now trade proper. Please get in touch and let us be able to do it together and make sure you are able to buy your shares. Now, another thing I need to draw your attention to is that it is good to invest in the rural banks. Rural banks are no more. We now have community banks. So I encourage you to make sure you buy shares, especially rural banks that are in your hometown. Now we have about 147 rural banks in Ghana. And almost every constituency you go, there's a rural bank there. Those of us who do not even have in our constituency yet or in our hometowns, you can arrange to have a rural bank for your hometown, which is now no more called rural banks, but community banks. Now, rural banks have their shares between 1 cedi 20 pesos to as low as 10 pesos. So some of them have their shares, the price per share is 10 pesos. Others have it at 50 pesos. Others have it as 1 cedi. I know a rural bank which has now increased their share price to 1 cedi. So it means that if someone is having 100,000 shares now in the company, they have 100,000. But since we do not have the alternative market to trade rural bank shares yet, rural bank shares are still not traded. Just that you can be able to whale it and transfer it to your children. You can whale it and transfer it to your children. And you have the right to also become a board member when you have certain skills to yourself. These are all opportunities that are available to us, but a lot of people are not taking advantage of. And so, at this juncture, let me invite if there's any question, and then we'll now draw the curtains down. Any questions?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yes.
I think I'm trying to get the apps installed, and then navigate through them. But I am asking this CSD account. How to also get access to that? Am I supposed to download something on that too?
Now, the CSD account is either the brokerage firm that will help you get it, or uh, or you try to trade directly on the app using their omnibus account. But one thing I want to encourage you to do is that since you really want to do a serious business with these companies, don't just be doing it on the apps. Go behind the scenes and visit their office, their physical offices in Kumasi here at a Doom, and then get yourself registered. Because as Ghanaians, usually because of what has happened with DKM and other things, most of the digital stuff, we really want to go into it. So for me, I had to even call IC wealth people, follow them, get them talk to me and other things before I finally put my money there. That's why I could recommend to you. Blaster, the same thing, you know. So I need to encourage you that if you want to do it, let us get a little time. Go to Data Bank, open your CSD account, and if you begin to trade on these apps, talk to them to be able to transfer your shares from the app into your CSD account, so that at any point in time you can be able to have access to it.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Please, do you have any question for me?
So please, quick one. Do we see Data Bank as a brokerage firm, a bank, or advisor? I want to know.
As a brokerage firm.
Okay.
Data Bank as a brokerage firm.
Okay.
Okay. Then I will make a follow up with my fellow colleague's question. I think I was asking of the CSD how to get the account. I think you made reference to going to the data bank, but I think in your explanation, you were mentioning Blackstar and then the IC Worth. So
Yes,
which
yes.
of them
They
is
are all
supporting the
brokerage firms.
CSD? Or any of these brokerage
Yes, they can
firms
also
can
facilitate.
open the CSD?
Yes. Any of the brokerage firms that are licensed, they can easily facilitate to help you get your CSD account.
Okay.
Pastor, please, if you already have business at Data Bank, does that amount to you have a CSD account with them or no?
No, please.
It's
No,
different.
please. No, please. No, please. If you already have an account with them, unless you said you want to buy share, that's why they will facilitate helping you get the CSD account. I have a very beautiful question I will answer lastly, which is beautiful. Is it difficult to get your shares sold? If yes, why? I have never tried selling any of my shares for almost about, let me say, 10 years. I've not sold any of my shares. But so far as the market is active and you offer any of your shares to sell, you definitely have someone ready to buy. That's why usually people always want to deal with their brokerage firms, so that at any point in time you tell them, Charlie, I want to sell my shares. And then you give them sometime within a week or two, usually within a week, your shares are sold and then the amount is credited to your account. But I have not tried selling any of my shares. But my investigation that I've done shows that when you offer your shares to sell, usually even when you want to even buy shares, when you make the offer, sometimes it takes between three days for them to credit it to your account, or 3 to 4 days. There was one account I had to wait for about 2 weeks before I was able to get some of the shares, because those who are willing to sell were not available, and I had put my request in the queue. The same thing applies to the selling. So far as you're ready to sell, you need to be able to get someone who's ready to buy. Very, very much important. That's why you usually have to buy attractive shares, attractive shares, or companies that are attractive and then they are really doing well on the stock exchange market.
So, sir,
Last question.
Yes, sir. If I have shares I think you emphasize at the stock exchange market we acquire ordinary shares. So is it that any time I can trade it, or you have a certain time frame before you can trade your shares if you want to sell them?
Okay.
Because I
So,
face a scenario in my when I was doing my first degree, I gave my tuition fee to a guy who was so fit to this. He told me I can get some money out there, so I should give it to him. Part of it, give it to him anyway. This one is a confession. He went and then made business with it, and then later on, when I needed the money to complete, because we were heading to the end of the semester, we needed to complete my distance and then write the exam. He went, draw it back, and then he told me that the timeline wasn't enough, so I lost part of the money invested. I did not also get any return. So what was really playing out over there? I didn't have enough understanding in the market.
we will do Zika, we will do our Now, one thing is that the Ghana Stock Exchange market is not, I want to use this word, sorry. It's not a joking place. It's a serious business environment because the market is a place that it reflects whatever we are doing in the economy. So when the economy is doing well, it affects the stock exchange market. So if you want to sell your shares, now if you have MTN shares you want to sell, it's a hot cake. People are willing to buy. So it's a matter of just clicking on sell. It will just go through the chain. Before you realize your account has been credited and you have your money. Yes. So, and then if you want to know the time limit, you may not have to buy the shares and hold it for say 10 years before you can sell. Even if you bought the shares today and you feel like you want to sell tomorrow, it's a matter of just offering it out and getting someone willing to buy. You're good to go. So that is all. That is all that you need to know.
Okay, thank you, sir. And you choked my
Okay.
money.
I'm grateful. So, colleagues, that was another wonderful session we have had. I want to thank Esinam so much for getting the time to present my slides for me. Had it not been you today, it would have been something else when the network was fully here, not allowing me to share my screen. And you know that I had to use my wife's phone throughout. You know, even as at now, I've not been able to connect on our laptops and other things, but the iPhone people are enjoying good network. So this is to introduce you and also expose you to the benefits out there. I need you all not to end the conversation here, but as much as possible, take action now and begin to build your portfolio. I told my sister when she got her first employment in 2010 as a teacher to invest. Now she's done about 16 to 18 years in service. 16 to 18 years in service. So imagine if she bought GCB Bank Limited shares 18 years ago. Now GCB shares is about 36 cedis per share. And 18 years ago, GCB shares was impetuous. And now, if she had even 100,000 shares with GCB, now it means that now she has a wealth of 360,000. In one of our webinars, we are going to deal with how to be able to measure your net wealth. At what point do we see someone is a millionaire? Sometimes it's usually not the card that they have. But all these investments are put together to compute your net worth as an ingredient. So the best time to have invested was 20 years ago. But the better time is today. But the worst time is tomorrow. So if you have gone through this up to now, and if you look at the information I've shared with you, it is worth more than what people are paying for elsewhere. And then I'm not leaving you. We are on the platform. If you begin, like I said, if you want to go live and begin to hit the ground moving, you can arrange to come to my office or we can arrange to meet somewhere and I'll guide you through to make sure you're also trading. And it is really going to help you so much. Investment is a conscious effort. And if you don't take care, before you realize you're already on pension and you have really not make very good investment ahead, So I need you to start now. Put something little there. That 5,000 Ghana cedis, you don't want to use it for anything. Put it there. Get some money in your emergency account, and then start some business. Get something running, and I'm sure it is really going to go a long way to help you. I'm grateful you came. I hope this course has been impactful, and I want to acknowledge some senior colleagues who are here, some senior members who have been able to join our class. I am so much grateful for the honor and your time. I hope this webinar or this short course was impactful, but I'm sure the best will come out of it when you begin to make moves for us to meet and you begin to put money into it. The area I'm also inviting you, those of us who are far advanced in education and career, is that now the rural banks need some of you to be on their boards, to be part of their shareholders, to technically advise them, lead them to a certain level that they are growing. Now, Bank of Ghana said all rural banks should have at least a minimum capital requirement of 5 million. Most rural banks are now looking for professors, lecturers, senior members, people, some of us who know our accounting, our finance, our medicine, and other things, to bring our knowledge on board by investing something a little in them, and then availing yourself to either be a director, or even if you don't want to be a director, it is going to be a dividend share that can give you some money in times where you are not even expecting it. So please, I encourage you to help us in that regard and do that. And I'm sure it will be a blessing. This is Talk Business Consult. JC, if you are there, can you come take over? So, sister, you can now pull down the slides. Thank you very much. I'm grateful. You have all stayed on. And those of us who are colleagues at work, I'll be expecting you to walk into my office. And those who are big brothers and fathers behind the scenes, please contact me and let us begin our job. And I'm sure it is going to go a long way to help all of us. So I appreciate you for coming, and God bless us all. Our next webinar will be on 28th of June, which will be preparing for pension, thinking the future now. And that one will be a free webinar, which I encourage you to be part.
Thank you very much.
Yes, I appreciate it. Yeah. Okay, so I wish you all the very best. God bless us all. Stay in touch and let us start building the wealth and let us meet up there. I'm grateful. And then lastly, my announcement is that those of us who have churches, year groups, classmates that want to invite our consultancy firm to go and talk on a certain area or build capacity in certain areas, we are available to do that. I think one year group, 1997 year group of a high school has invited my firm to talk on pensions. So you can also invite us to your church, your clinic. If you want us to do your books and your taxes and other things, we are here to provide good support and career guidance. I'm grateful. Thank you all and have a wonderful evening. Good night.
Good night. Thank you so much, sir.
Good night. Thank you.
Dr. Sammy, I'm lost. I'll come to your office. I'll come and worry you.
If I tell you, Martin, sister, no hands over, but the hands over, baby.
Me dispute the so atadi. Empty mu money kete masono. Meba.
Yeah.
No, I de no. Unshao.
Yeah, that's the plan.
So for closing prayer.
Yeah.
Closing prayer. Sister, Mrs. Dr. Mrs. Pray for us and let us end. Thank you.
Please, shall we pray? Our Heavenly Father, we want to thank you for this time. That, Father, you were in our midst. Thank you for the insight. Thank you for this impactful training. Father, we pray that as uncles may is helping us to invest in our future. Father, would also be fishers of men. Help spread the word so that all of us will have a better future and that for our kids. We pray, Lord, that whatever the opportunities are out there, Father God, help us to grab them so that we can also channel them into your ministry. We pray and thank you for the week ahead. We pray that, Lord, you would guide and guard us as we are about to sleep tonight. Father God, let us sleep sweet, give us dreams of you, Jesus. Help us to be more like you in all our dealings. In your mighty son's name have we prayed with thanksgiving. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Pastor,
And
please,
I'll,
when are you going to do tensions? Business.
I'll be expecting you all.